On the morning of June 4th, 1942, the Pacific Ocean appeared calm and peaceful aboard an American aircraft carrier. Sailors stood silently watching the horizon. None of them knew that within a few hours, they would take part in one of the most important naval battles in history. On December 7th, 1941, Japan shocked the world with its surprise attack on Pearl Harbor. Battleships were destroyed, aircraft exploded before it could even take off, and thousands of Americans lost their lives. The Imperial Japanese Navy seemed unstoppable, and its next objective was to eliminate America's remaining naval power in the Pacific. While Japan prepared its next offensive, American naval intelligence worked around the clock to crack encrypted Japanese communications. After weeks of careful analysis, they discovered that the next target would be a tiny island called Midway. For the first time, the United States knew the enemy's plan before the battle had even begun. Admiral Isoroku Yamamoto believed Midway would become the perfect trap. His strategy was simple: lure the American aircraft carriers into battle and destroy them once and for all. Confident in the strength of the Imperial Japanese Navy, he believed victory was only a matter of time. One of the most powerful naval forces ever assembled crossed the Pacific Ocean. For massive aircraft carriers sailed in perfect formation, protected by cruisers and destroyers. Their overwhelming strength convinced many that Japan's dominance at sea was impossible to challenge. North of Midway, American crews prepared for what they knew could be a one-way mission. Mechanics fueled aircraft, officers coordinated every detail, and pilots checked their equipment in silence. Every man understood the risk, but none were willing to step back. One after another, American dive bombers launched from the flight deck and disappeared into the morning sky. Ahead of them waited one of the world's most powerful fleets. Behind them lay nothing but the endless Pacific. The first American attack was carried out by slow torpedo bombers flying just above the ocean surface. They became easy targets for Japanese fighters. One after another, they were shot down before reaching their targets. It looked like a complete disaster. While Japanese fighters chased the torpedo bombers at low altitude, American dive bombers suddenly appeared from the clouds above. Below them, Japanese carriers were refueling aircraft and loading bombs and ammunition. It was the worst possible moment to be caught off guard. The American bombers dove almost straight down. Seconds later, a bomb slammed directly into the aircraft carrier Kaga. Massive explosions ripped across the flight deck as fuel ignited and fire spread uncontrollably. One of Japan's most powerful warships was already doomed. The American bombers dove almost straight down. Seconds later, a bomb slammed directly into the aircraft carrier Kaga. Massive explosions ripped across the flight deck as fuel ignited and fire spread uncontrollably. One of Japan's most powerful warships was already doomed. Moments later, Akagi and Sori were also hit. In less than 5 minutes, 3 of Japan's most important aircraft carriers were burning. What had begun as a carefully planned victory had suddenly become one of the greatest disasters in naval history. American dive bombers soon located the last remaining Japanese carrier, Hiryu. Bombs struck the flight deck, setting off devastating fires that spread beyond control. With Hiryu destroyed, Japan had lost all 4 of its frontline aircraft carriers. As the smoke slowly cleared, the Pacific was covered with burning wreckage. Damaged ships drifted across the water, while exhausted survivors waited to be rescued. Thousands of lives had been lost, and the balance of the war had changed forever. The victory at Midway marked the beginning of America's offensive across the Pacific. Japan would never fully recover from the losses suffered during this battle. Today, Midway is remembered as one of history's greatest examples of strategy, intelligence, and extraordinary courage.